FlossTube, or as Annie, the joy-filled stitcher, would say, hello, my FlossTube friends. It's time for another episode. Except I'm Becca, and this is day 3 of my FlossTube anniversary Whip Parade and Stash Parade extravaganza. And we're going to dive into the contents of another bag. This is a bag that I made a few years ago, and I've filled it with projects that are not at the top of the list of things I want to start and work on. They're just a little below that. So thanks for stopping by my stitchy home and helping me celebrate 1 year on FlossTube and taking a look at what it is I've accumulated for projects. So let's get started. I've got a list here, and yesterday I did not show a quilt project that's in the works. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show 2 quilt projects. If you're not interested, that's fine. But if you want to see those, I will show them, because I intended for each video to show one project that I want to work on or need to finish or what have you. Okay, without further ado, first up is the Stitcher Poem Sampler. Oh, and I should say, you're going to hear the zipper opening and closing. You may hear some paper rustling. I really can't help that in order to keep all this where it needs to be. Hope you understand. This is by Hand Blessings. And I'll put it up close. I don't know. It spells Stitcher. I don't know if you can see that. S is for stitching. What more can we say? T is for talent with needle and thread. I is for instructions, faithfully followed. T is for treasures, lovingly created. C is for colors, wonderful to behold. H is for happy hearts, So I'm reading this without my glasses. H is for happy hours spent stitching. E is for extra touches. R excuse me. R is for rave reviews gratefully received. And on each of these sections, I don't know if you can see it, there's a charm attached to each one. And so, I need to separate this out. I have to stitch on this 28 count summer khaki. It's a long piece, and it's probably reading more gold there. It's really more of a tan color, less gold. And then I just pulled threads that I had that I thought would look good on this. It only calls for 3 belle soie, a green, a tan, and a red. And so I've got 2 greens here and a brown and then a red. And I also have the charm pack, or silver charms. Came with the pattern. Yay. That's always a plus. And I think I purchased that from a stash sale a few years ago. So that's at the top of the list for this bag. Next up is Sew Together charts. So SCW, Sew Together Charts 1 through 6 by Jeanette Douglas. Number 1 is samplers. And these are just like 4x4 designs. Pins and needles is number 2. And I'm going to stitch these all together. Number 3 is scissors and threads. Number 4 is linen and flax. Number 5 is buttons and bows. Steph, there's a rabbit. And number 6 is ribbons and trims. It's a bird. I'll be stitching this on Picture This Plus 36 count Legacy. And yeah, it's on the green side of gold. I think people pretty much know that about Legacy if you've worked with Legacy at all. Like I think I said, this is by Jeanette Douglas, and I got the called for flosses. I think I read or heard somewhere that there's supposed to be 8 of these charts total, that there's 2 more charts still to come out. I don't know if that's wishful thinking or reality. I haven't researched it, but oops, I better put the charts away. If I don't start this until next year and give Jeanette a chance to release perhaps chart 7 and 8 or whatever, I think my fabric, because they're just 4 inches each, I think it's plenty big to accommodate more. But I didn't want to, try to make the fabric exactly what I needed for 6 charts if there's going to be 8. All right, the next one is a blackbird design, Strawberry Fields Forever. And it's the second in the Magical Mystery Tour series. Okay. I have a mystery linen to stitch that on. It's, let's see, the stitch count is 95 by 138. Recommended fabric is 32 count Confederate gray. I don't think this is Confederate gray. I don't. And it's probably 32 count. So I think I should have enough fabric. I meant to double check that. But I think I would not have put it in here if it wasn't the right fabric to use. Enough fabric, I should say. And then I pulled together a combination of DMC and, let's see, 2 of the fancy flosses, 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fancy flosses, I guess. And I know I have more of the fancy flosses if I feel like those areas of the design should not, would look more to my liking if they were in a fancy floss, an overdyed floss versus DMC. Then I have this blackbird design called Hedgerow Birds. It's a project bag. It makes a project bag if you want to finish it that way. So these are flowers, and then those are the birds. And then there's a bird here, and you can put the year. I have not seen anybody else stitching this. That doesn't mean they haven't, but I just haven't seen it on any floss tubes. But I got it at a stash sale. I won't start these two at the same time. I'll just stitch on whatever, one blackbird design at a time. And I have a combination of Fancy Floss and DMC. So it's like pinks and purples and greens for that. And the fabric is this Silk Weaver 25 count Wexford linen. It's a solo dye. It's green and it's got a little bit of blue. You see the blue? And I've got two pieces. I cut a smaller piece off, so I'm not sure if this is what I intend to stitch on for the project bag or if it's the bigger piece. I need to mark it. I know what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you've seen that project, that blackbird design project chart before, or if you've ever stitched it. I would be curious to know how people felt about the instructions to make the bag. If they, if they followed them or did something different. All right. Next up, Stitching Feeds My Heart by Silver Creek Sampling. And it says, with silver needle and golden thread, I'll stitch until my heart is fed. And then you can put, the year there. So I got a crystal, 28 count crystal bramble. It's kind of a mauve-y, gray, tan, and it does have the sparkle in it. You can kind of see sparkle. You're probably not getting that it is pink. I mean, there is a pink undertone to it, in my opinion. And then the Weeks Dye Works flosses, which I need to put on a ring. And they're just a lot of pinks, muted, but there's gold and silver. And I thought that the crystal fabric would just kind of emphasize the gold and silver mentioned in the chart. And y'all, it was hard to put these in order of when I would want to start the. And of course, all bets are off. Who knows what I'll do? Who knows? The next one is the Cat's Meow from the Drawn Thread. Cat's Meow. That's really cute. So it's got the alphabet, it's got mice, it's got several cats. One of the cats kind of looks Siamese, so I'll probably, because I grew up with a Siamese cat, I'll probably make sure that one does look Siamese. We currently have a gray striped tabby cat, and there's one of those on here. And we're fostering a calico cat. So I might make one of these look like a calico cat. And for many, many years, I had a yellow cat that sort of looked like Garfield or Morris, kind of a yellowy orange. And there's one of those in there. So you could really, you know, if you want to, you can personalize that chart or that design. And I'm stitching it on 32 count Tycho, Tycho. It's small. It's Tycho. It's kind of yellowy. Yeah, you probably get that. And then I've got, I went ahead and pulled a Gentle Art thread, or maybe three Gentle Art threads, Garden Gate, Soot, and Pebble. They're like grays and silver to stitch with the cats, and I may, if I need to, I may pull some other fancy floss to get the cat fur to look right, but you can see there's a lot of color, and I need to put these on thread drops, which is my preferred way of doing it now. But you can see all the reds and blues and yellows, all the different colors in that. And the the stitch count is, oh, and I still need to get some black beads, 1 pearl cotton. Yes. Okay, stitch count. It's 80 stitches wide by 80 stitches tall. So it's not very big. And we'll probably stitch up really quick. Aside from needing to maybe tweak the fur to look like cats I've had. All right, next up. And I'm really excited about this one. This is the Valentine Sampler by Cottage Garden Sampling. Have you seen this one? Valentine Sampler by Cottage Garden Sampling. I did their Christmas sampler, which had a horrible picture. Horrible. And I modified it to where the capital letters were, you know, say green, and then the small letters were red. And I still had the various DMC reds and greens and golds and blacks and white. But this one, I think I'm doing with the called for, but I am going to stitch it on a pink that I got at Keepsakes. It's a variegated, but it's a mystery. I don't know. I think it's 32 count. I don't know why it's not I mean, it has a label, but there's nothing on it. It's just a Keepsakes. So I have called for, except for one. I could not get the Gentle Art shade of, it's called Bluebell. So I'm using the Color and Cotton Bluebell. And the only place I think it appears is there's an angel over here, and their wings are that Bluebell color. So I was really glad I had Color and Cotton Bluebell. And then I need one more Antique Rose Gentle Art, but I know I have that in other kits, so if I need to, I could, you know, pull from another one. But yeah, pinks and green, purple. You have to buy 2 of the purple and 2 of the Antique Rose, and that's the Antique Rose are the large letters and the purple are the small. So this, I'm looking forward to this. And you know, you could say, well, why isn't it in your first bag? Why haven't you already started it? I don't know, but I I gave it some thought. It's a big one. It takes a little while to do, and so I'll pull it whenever I'm ready, I guess. This one was a kit. It's called Freedom from the Longaberger Company. It's really, truly, it's from the Longaberger Company. Right there, the Longaberger Company. I showed this when I picked it up. I think I picked it up off a freebie table, or maybe paid $1 or $2 for it. And somebody was like, I didn't know the Longaberger Company had cross stitch. Well, they did. I once had a chart that was to do it was like a stacked set of a teapot and cup and, you know, saucer type thing. And it was a bell pull. And I even bought the special Longaberger bell pull top and bottom. And it came with a floss and everything. And I ended up selling it on Stash Unload. But anyway, I got this. I haven't decided if I'm going to stitch the eagle and the star in the center, or if I want to come up with something else. I don't know. I need to start looking around for other ideas, freebie charts or something that would maybe give me an idea of something to put here that would read patriotic or summer. So I don't know. I like the top and the bottom, and I don't mind the freedom. Of course, I really like the basket. And like I said, it was a kit. It came with 14 count Aida, and I've swapped that out for, I think it's 16 count. It's either 16 or 18 count Aida. And I'm debating if I want to over-dye it with maybe a little bit of blue, or blue and red, maybe, or a little coffee tea dye. I'm not sure. And then here with the, you know, the flosses already on a card. So that's nice. And except for the fact that I want to figure out, you know, if I want to customize it. I mean, I could even leave the eagle. I just don't really want to stitch that blue star. I also thought about taking some wool felt and, you know, cutting out some stars or something like that, and doing a combination of wool and cross stitch. If you have any ideas, let me know. I would welcome ideas. All right, let's keep going here. The next two are the birdie and basket samplers. The first one is number 112, and it's called Poinsettia. It's this one from Talon Emblem. And there's the flosses that are unique to it. I'm stitching it on a 32 count cream linen, and it might have, yeah, it's got a little bit of variegation to it, but not, I mean, it does have some, not a lot. These are the DMC that are shared between the two patterns. I'm going to show you the second pattern, but all of these were shared. And then the second pattern is number 113, and it's Winterberry. And so it has more the greens and blue greens, gold in it. And so let's side by side. You can see it has the poinsettia, and this one has, I guess, the winterberry. I'm looking forward to that someday. Kind of has a Christmassy feel because I guess the poinsettia. So maybe that'll be a winter stitch. Next up, I've had this for a while. A Heart Full of Love by Frida's Fancy Stitching. And I decided to take it in a little different direction. So I purchased Picture This Plus Earthen. This was a few years ago. So you'll notice I had never worked with 32 count, anything this floppy. At that time I had only done, Aida or even weave. And this was super floppy. I didn't know what to do. So I put tape on it, and I actually tacked it to a needlepoint frame, square frame. Anyway, now that I'm a little more experienced at stitching on linen, I think I could move much faster. I could put this on a hoop and move much faster. But I'm stitching it with 2 color of Gloriana that are kind of, dusty rosy brown. And yeah, so I have a little piece extra. Would make a good piece for a strawberry, probably. And next up is Stitching by the Sea, and there's really 5 projects in here. The first one is the pin cushion, which is that long design. And the way this is laid out, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 5 designs on there. I suppose you could do 5 smalls, scissor fobs or something, or do 1 as a scissor fob if you wanted. Yeah. Anyway. And I don't know if I don't know what I've got. This was out of something where somebody started it. I'm not sure which is front and back over one. So I have this piece and I have this piece. One or the other I was thinking of for this long pin cushion, or a pin cushion and a scissor fob. And these are the called for flosses. Very rich colors. But when you see the fabric I picked out for the 4-season sampler of Stitching by the Sea, you'll tell me I need to change the fabric of the pin cushion. Crinkle, crinkle. Okay, this is from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's called As You Wish, and it's a 32 count. It's like the color of my curtains here. Woohoo! Isn't that pretty? Now, when I expressed to the person who was helping me, and this was at, I'm pretty sure I got this at the Stitch Niche. Yes, at the Stitch Niche in Arlington, Texas, in the summer of 2018. And they had, Spring by the Sea. It's 1/4. If you put them all together, it's like here's one, right? This right here, and then that's the second one, third one, fourth one. So that was spring. And this is summer by the sea, winter by the sea, and autumn by the sea. And I need to print off what it looks like all together, but anyway, when I purchased it, they did not have the accessory packs, but they ordered them for me, and so I have the accessory packs. Expensive, people. Expensive. And Kim at the Stitch Niche wrote me a note, so that was nice. That was very nice. There were also some other charts that I had to order where they didn't have the complete set of something. And so I got all that in due time. I've got a big stack there. Okay, we are almost done. This is my second. Well, it's kind of my third bag, I guess. Yeah, it's my day 3, third bag. Okay, the next one is Barnwood Buttons from Rosewood Manor. I know I've seen Bendy Stitchy have this. And was it Crafty Cat? Kathy, did you have this? I know I've seen 2 or 3 people with it. I got this at Dixie Darling in Tennessee near Pigeon Forge. I think in Sevierville, I think. But at the time, I was not really drawn to the brown. So I got 28 count linen in Mystic. Because I love blue. And isn't that pretty? Well, so it's a it has a really nice solid feel to it. And the dimensions on this is 337 stitches wide by 84 stitches high. Then I got the called for Weeks Dye Works. I think it's called for. Anyway, let's look. It's been a while. Okay, the called for is 5 skeins of Weeks Dye Works linen. They didn't have linen, so I got grits. Which nearly the same. And then I also got the button pack. All these beautiful buttons. And then there's a listing of, what each one is. I did think about just using, buttons I had in a variety of colors, but I really like that look. And I mean, I keep pulling this out going, I need to stitch that. I need to stitch that. What it says on the chart, at the bottom of the chart, is when one tugs at a single thing in nature, he finds it attached to the rest of the world. Isn't that meaningful at this time? We're all attached in this world together. So yeah, that that should be higher on my list of projects to stitch. I want to stitch it all. Okay, we're down to the last two that I'm going to show today. This one is another Jeanette Douglas design. Take Time to Quilt. That's her summer. Take Time to Quilt summer. So I guess I'm on the look for the other 3 seasons. These, I think these are fairly small. If it's stitched on 32 count, it's a little over 4 by 4 inches. I am stitching it on 32 count Tyco. Again, that kind of almost yellow cream. And I have the accessory pack for that. Yeah, because I quilt like that. It's got the bee skep, the house, like a quilt design, a couple of quilt designs, flowers. Very nice. So yeah, on the lookout for spring, fall, winter. Take Time to Quilt. Or, I don't know, maybe the other 3 designs are different crafts. I don't know. Do y'all have that? Does anybody have that design? Have you stitched it? Did you stitch it with the other 3 seasons? Okay, the last one I have on here for this bag is the Home is Best Sampler by M Designs. All right, so it's got houses all the way around, if you can see that. And I am going to stitch it on, not the called for. The called for is Cattail Brown Linen by Lakeside Linen, 32 count. I'm going to stitch it on a Silk Weaver linen called Cookie Dough in 28 count. And it is kind of a green. You'd think Cookie Dough would be more tan, warm gold tan color, but it's really kind of a green color. And I guess to me it'll look kind of like, you know, grass or something. That's my thinking. And the stitch count on that is 149 by 149, so a little over 9 by 9 inches, I guess. Yeah, a little over 9 by 9, so it's kind of big. And I don't have all the flosses I need. I read somewhere there might be a floss pack for that, so I need to reach out to see if maybe keepsakes or some, you know, on some shop that either has an online presence or is willing to, you know, ship. Because it's a lot of floss for a 9 by 9 design. It's a lot of floss. It might just be better to buy a floss pack. And that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by my stitchy home. It's always a pleasure to visit with you and share with you. And I so enjoy seeing what other floss tubers, what other stitchers are working on. There's no giveaway today, but if you haven't watched yesterday's video, FlossTube Special Edition, there is a playlist down below that has all of this week's special edition videos, my Whip Parade and Stash Dive. And video number 2 has a giveaway in it. So if you're interested in that and you haven't watched, go back and watch. I will be drawing for the winner in a couple of weeks, so you have time. Thanks, and join me tomorrow for another edition of my FlossTube Anniversary Extravaganza. Bye, everybody.